body was different. I almost felt this shyness again, like, oh my God, I'm a virgin again. What do I do? Do I go out and screw like crazy?
This is the Transparency Podcast Show with hosts Shelby Chang and Michelle Herman from Long Beach, California, where we bring you life transformation stories, business, investment, personal development, entertainment, and more.
Because you say you been through all that struggling and then become a full-time girl, and then you went through your operation as well. So
Yes.
Can you share that experience with the audience?
Sure. It's a pleasure.
Because I've been asking about doctors and seeking what I want to do myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think to ask some girls or sister that been through that
Sure.
experience is
Definitely
perfect. Ideally, yeah.
Exactly.
So
Okay. How would you, there's so many aspects of this, but I'll just share how I did my surgeries, and I'll talk about, the first one. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as of date, I've had 3 of the major surgeries, which is bottom surgery, or we could call it gender affirming surgery, SRS. It has a whole bunch of names, but second, I've had the breast augmentation, and I've had facial surgery, facial feminization surgery, and lots of stuff done to my face. And then as well, point of personal honesty to I'm wearing a hairpiece, but I also had hair transplant surgery.
Okay.
And that's coming along amazingly. And I'm hoping maybe in a year or 2, I will no longer be wearing my hairpiece.
Nice.
Wow.
So I want to go back to my first surgery.
Okay.
And I think that's maybe the heart of the matter, is that we all experience our gender, and we all experience our body dysphoria in a very unique way. For me, I intensely experienced it that I needed bottom surgery.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't experience to the point where maybe I wanted to self-harm or self-mutilate, but there's people who experience it like even that intensely.
Exactly.
But I didn't experience it that way, but I experienced it that I always fantasized about having, can I say it on here?
You can.
I always fantasized about having a vagina.
Yes.
I always fantasized about it. And so when I started the transitional process, it's like, I can't explain it, but it's like this primordial drive was in me to do it. And so in 2017, though I'd been only living a short time full-time, maybe 6 months, and my health insurance coverage was on a clock. It was called the Cobra, because I'd been laid off.
Yes.
And so I was on a 6-month clock. So I went and did a consult actually in Arizona with one of the big doctors at the time, Dr. Meltzer. It's even stranger. His co-practitioner's name is Dr. Lay, and she's an incredible doctor, but unusual name. I may put it that way. I won't go anywhere with that, but anyway, when I did that first consult, all I can tell you is something, I would say maybe my confidence in the need was maybe like 90% confidence, 10% doubt. I did the consultation, and I came away. The consultation to me, again, was like this rite of passage, religious experience.
Right.
I have to have the surgery. I know beyond any doubt in my mind. And that's the point. But I wasn't ready to have it. Okay. I knew on the one hand, it gave me mentally, spiritually, or whatever you want to transitionally speaking, I didn't have doubt that I needed that surgery, and I needed it as soon as I could do it. What ensued was really, I had to go through the next steps of my journey, which was really extricating myself from the house that my ex and I were in, selling it, moving out and moving to West Hollywood, where I lived, where I had a small apartment. But all in that time period, what happened with me was very coincidentally and through Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles at the end of 2017 just started their transgender care program.
Okay.
So I did a consult with the doctor there, and they had no waiting list. They had a 6-month waiting list.
Wow.
Which, for like some of the top doctors, that waiting list can be a year to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
That's a lot of waiting when you really know you need it.
Yes.
So I did a consult in March of 2018, and then I got a surgical date of October of the same year.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh my God, I have to do electrolysis. How am I going to do this?
Oh, yes.
And so, how am I going to do this in 6 months? And through a reference, I discovered this lady in Beverly Hills who has a form of electrolysis called the multi-point galvanic needle. It's Beverly Hills Hair Free.
Yes.
I'll give the reference.
Yes.
But anyways, the point was she got me there ready in 5 months.
Oh, my goodness.
Which is normally a year-long process.
Yes.
Now, did it hurt? Oh, yes, it hurt.
Oh my God.
It hurts.
Yes, it hurts.
But what I feel what happened is 2018. At one point, October 2018, I moved out of our home. Our home was sold. I moved to West Hollywood. I had a studio apartment, and I was just after all these years of marriage, I'm just getting used to living on my own, which is wild. It's bizarre. It's like, it's happy, it's lonely, it's everything.
All of it.
And I'm living in West Hollywood, which is like, oh my God, I'm in community, but which is like, wait a minute, oh my God, this is crazy. But my original surgery date was right after my move-in. That's pretty aggressive.
Yeah. And was it was it a full year of, I think they called it back then, real life test?
I didn't do that.
Oh, okay. Oh, very cool.
Well, no, actually, no. That's not true. I had been more than a year on HRT. Okay. I had been more than a year living time. But it was never, what happened is those standards changed in 2015. Thankfully.
Yes.
So that never, for my case, it didn't apply. All that applied is I needed to be on hormones a year, and I needed to be living on myself, as myself for a year, which I was more than all of that.
Yes, awesome.
My surgery, because though this lady was great with electrolysis, it wasn't quite ready for that surgical date, so it got kicked back by only 2 months. Okay. But that I would lose the surgery date, it was such an emotional thing. I broke down. But it was only, a few months later. It was November 29th, 2018. I got bottom surgery at Cedars, and I was in the hospital. I was visited by so many of my friends within my religious community, which I'm Buddhist. Okay. I was visited by so many friends in that community. I was visited by so many friends in the trans community. Wow. And it turned out one of my friends in the trans Latina community had surgery the next day. So we started trading visitations people. Oh, and it was just a surreal moment. It was awesome. It was, I get emotional as I think about it, because even as in Cedars, because the hospital was very full that day, my room turned out to be the VIP room that they give for. So I'm getting this luxury room to recover from bottom surgery. Nice. So I'm confined to bed, and all I can do is just enjoy the view.
Exactly. Wow. I can't wait.
I think, but what I would say is it was one part of my voyage to get to the place of having surgery, which takes a lot of determination, a lot of dedication, a lot of, oh my God, it takes everything to get to that point. Yeah, a lot of courage too. Yeah, definitely. And then there's the point of having the surgery, which is one really intense marker point of our life. And then there's kind of the recovery period. And those are 3 totally different experiences, for me. So the last part was the part, because you just, what I would say is I was a little naive because I just had to have the surgery. My mind couldn't comprehend anything else other than having that surgery. And I kind of thought like, well, I'm a tough bitch. I'll just recuperate on my own. That was a mistake. So, I had friends who drove me back from the hospital. I had friends who helped me shop. I had somebody else who helped me clean my apartment. But, really for the first first couple of weeks, you can't even drive. For the first few months, you're very restricted physical activity. But more, I had never had major surgery before, and that is one major surgery. And I just had no insight to the depth of the physical change that would go on with me, the mental change, the spirit, the transitional change. Yeah. The change is incredible, but that post-surgical recovery period, which in all honesty, it takes about a year for everything to settle down.
Yeah.
And everything to come back into a new sweet space. But that was a very tumultuous year. That was a very like 6 months into or 5 months into it, I dipped into a deep post-surgical depression.
Wow.
Like, this is not me. It's not my personality. I think Shelby knows my personality. I'm a people-forward person, but I went into such a deep depression, I turned off my phone and I stopped talking to people. Wow. And I just streamed Netflix. And the only reason I went outside is to walk my little doggy. I have a little mini pincher. She's outside now, but that was the only reason I left the house, was to walk my dog. But what I didn't know was, and this is what I want to share, it was a deep point of the surgery. What I didn't understand is that, I just, thankfully I was still seeing my therapist, and she was like, "You're depressed." No, and I was fighting her. No, I'm not. I'm not depressed, but yes, I was depressed. Yeah. And she's like, "You should get Prozac. I can't, can't prescribe that. I'm going to ask you to go see your doctor and get Prozac." And I'm like, it was a wake-up call, because I thought, there's no way I'm going to take Prozac. I'm very adverse to medication. I'm very sensitive medication. Mm-hmm. And especially, I don't want to take a medication that has a risk of an addiction where you just take it and take it. It's like, I didn't want to do that. So I'm like, okay, this is a serious moment. So, okay, I went and made an appointment with my endocrinologist, and, and it was hard. It was hard to open up, like, hey, my therapist asked me to come here. This is what's going on. And thankfully, my doctor was extremely experienced with working with trans clients. And this is the message I wanted to share, is he just said, no, before we do anything, let's get some information. And he goes, first of all, let's get your hormonal levels, and we're going to figure out where to go from there. But he goes, but let me explain what's happening with the body. And this is what I want to share with everybody. What's happening with the body is, in essence, the hormone factor in your body, AE, what used to be my testicles, and all that kind of stuff, it's gone. And that's been in your body for over 50 years. And now the rest of your endocrine system is trying to figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. Okay. And your body doesn't know what's going on because it's trying to search for something that's not there. So everybody's different. Everybody handles it different. So in a weird way, the fact that this would happen to you is actually very normal. He goes, what we're going to do, we'll test your levels, and then we'll figure out a course of action. And so the thing to share is what it really came out is that, all women have a ratio, all cisgender women have a ratio of estrogen to female testosterone. And when my levels came back, that level of testosterone was almost negligible. It didn't exist, or is at the lowest possible part of that band. And he's like, okay, we need to add this back. We need to add back a little bit of testosterone into your balance of HRT. And so we're going to do this, but we're going to work out what is the right dosage for your body. It's different for everybody. So, to be honest, thankfully, my doctor was so experienced that he had that maturity, and he could explain it to me in ways that I could understand, because I'm a doctor. Right. And second, it was truly a doctor-patient relationship that, I would do it for a while, and it's like, well, I feel like it's too much testosterone now because I'm feeling really aggressive. You know, he's like, okay, we're going to lower that and we'll change this and change that. And so we worked together for a few tries out and we found the sweet spot.
Very great.
Very
So,
good.
but I think what I didn't know these things going into it. And I find sometimes myself, and maybe less to a degree now because we have access, but we don't talk about these things when we go back, or when we get into deep water.
Right.
And the truth is, we all get into deep water, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I put, and maybe as a community, we can all do this to some extent. I want to say this story like, oh my God, I did my live stream, and now I'm having sex with all these amazing people because I got what I wanted.
Right.
Woohoo! You know, and then it's like, oh my God, I'm depressed and I just want to watch bad shit on Netflix.
Yes, exactly.
That was and I don't want to work. I don't want to do anything. I just want to have like crummy protein shakes and I don't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
You know,
yes.
That's where I was.
Yeah, I think a lot of trans women can relate to that. Personally, I felt, because I knew I had a lot of old friends that were watching me from afar, and I felt this pressure to all of a sudden be this amazing person because I finally got what I needed, from their perspective, or what I wanted. And then I just knew that I had to be an amazing woman.
Right.
But then, you deal with all these other stuff. Transition is what it's called. It's a transition.
Yeah.
It takes time. It's a journey. It's a process. And so thank you so much for being open with that, because that's something we don't always hear about, how difficult even the things that we need to do are and how that can affect us.
Mm-hmm. And like all of our progression, there's highs and lows that come with the territory. And they're natural.
Yes.
That's the point of what I would share. They're natural that the highs are low. But, what I did by the time I had my second surgery, what I did do is I enlisted people to help me in recovery, because I knew I would need the help. And I also knew that what goes on up here is a lot. And it's good to be in the presence of another person who may think with more clarity than
good. Very smart.
And to give yourself space to recover.
Right.
Because, to be under surgery for a long time, your body's got to go through a lot. It's traumatic.
Right.
And the change that's going to elicit internally. On the other hand, I would say that the bottom surgery for me, it did subtly feminize my body more. Like whatever muscles I had in my biceps feminized more. I softened up more, but even more my thought process feminized more. And it's very subtle. It just kind of grows in you. And that's for me, that was a beautiful point of the transition. Yes. It was the beautiful point to, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, 1 year to get to. And I think the other major thing, and I'll share this as me, and I love to share these open things, though my body was different, I almost felt this shyness again, like, oh my God, I'm a virgin again. What do I do? Do I go out and screw like crazy? But I think also it took me a lot to get used to my new body. It got me used to experiencing, female orgasm. It took me a while to get okay with that. And it got, okay inside of me. And then let alone to share that with another person was even more so. And it's just like, so these are, with some people, maybe they just rip right through it. That's fine. That wasn't me. Right. I was very slow and timid. But then when it all settles in, it's like, wow, I never knew, but it had ups and downs and it was a process. And, so I just, it took time as well. It took time sexually to get used to myself. It's like, wait a minute, I'm receiving. Whoa, wait a minute.
So very congratulations on your
and thank you for sharing.
Transformation. And now you're doing very great. Can you like you share with me you have a new home, a new career. Can you share with us
Yeah.
about your new career and new home?
Thank you, Shelby.
Of course.
So two things. I mean, I think you could pose the question with career and life-wise, that all transitions as well. And so I worked in information technology for long years. The last 15 years of my technological career was working within cable, satellite TV, technology, streaming, sports entertainment, all that. And so it was like there was a lot of status associated with that. And yes, prior to transitioning, I had the six-figure salary. I had the bonuses. I had the vacations wherever I wanted to go and all of that. But what it was is career-wise, I always kept trying to go back to the career that I used to do. Some people, that's fine. But for me, that career, I tried over and over and over to return to technology. I worked as a project manager in technology, but it never worked. And I had a number of jobs that I used to be able to, prior to transitioning, I was very proud because I used to be able to close interviews like this confidently. And as a transgender woman, I could never close. I could never close the deal. And I always had this thought in my mind, like, okay, once I get that gig, life will be good, everything will be on track, and boom. But it just never really worked out. And I think I had one job that I wanted so bad, and I got an interview for a program manager at Google in the Bay Area. And I went through the interview process, which is, it's a tough interview process when you interview with a prestigious company like that. And, and when you get a call from a prestigious company like that, you take that call, right? As a professional, you take that call and I did my best to make it happen. I got like 5 steps through it's like 5 different sets of interviews, like different, here's your primary, here's your second, 5 different sets. Wow. And I didn't close it. And it was, for me at that point, it was heartbreaking because I can do this work. I know I can do this work, but I didn't get it. And what it made me do, and I'll talk about it made me realize that let me look towards other things. Maybe this is the point in my life where technology is no longer my career. And I was holding on to it like other things of my previous life. I was attached to it, clinging to it, holding on to it desperately. And little by little, I had to let go of that. And so what I found more of a career path is I became, last year, I was looking seriously at a path of becoming a traditional therapist, but I approached it from an alternative route. And what it was is I got certified as a hypnotherapist. Okay. And why did I go that route? I went that route because I can quickly address things and beliefs that people have, that we all have. We have beliefs based on our life experiences. And at some point, those beliefs serve us, and at some point, they no longer serve us. And as a hypnotherapist, I help people attach when there's not serving them. And it could be any number of issues, but I help people change those beliefs and allow them to walk into a new reality to what they're going to. So in a way, my lived experience is now what I can offer back to people. And as I progressed as a hypnotherapist, I'm engaged in other methods of it. And really the beauty of what I do now is I work with paying clients. I work with people who struggle with issues of anxiety, depression, even more trauma, which is the things that I traverse. But now I've started out serving those areas, and now I'm refocusing that back to offer people community, because what I can do with hypnotherapy is for the things that I can get to root cause issues, I can get to that very quickly. And not that I know better, but more I can help the person on the receiving end elicit their own healing process and deeply heal and change themselves to go the direction that they need to be made to be. So my new career is actually a dream.
Wow.
And I never imagined it to be true. And because I can get people there relatively quickly, I can have sessions that are, 1 to 3 sessions, I can get somebody where they need to be. And it's like, okay, my role as a hypnotherapist is done and you don't need me anymore. I don't want you to be seeing me for a year, 2 years. I don't want that. I want to address this so you can move on.
Yeah.
And it's a pleasure to do that. It does something to me. And I want to start offering it more towards community, but also I want to more start serving LGBTQ youth and as well families of those LGBTQ youths, because each has a profound voyage. And I feel what I have to offer as a human being, my life voyage now it's in such an intense, beautiful place. And my career it's relatively new, but it's a career of purpose and passion. And I'll cover the other topic you shared about, because in a way, my transition, like many of us, some more than others, I had to lose, my transitional journey was, I had to lose everything about my life as him. Yeah. I had to lose it all. I had to lose my house, my marriage, my status, my career, many friends, and part of it, my family, part of it, all that stuff. And many of us share that journey. But the more and more I was able to let go of that stuff, when the new stuff came in, is that, by the way, in the process, my finances got totally freaking wrecked. I mean, my credit got wrecked, my finances got wrecked. And really before I transitioned, I just thought, like, I'm going to just be hang gliding right into my retirement. And I crash landed into like being broke,
Yes.
But the beauty is, because I was steadfast about myself, the one gift of transition later in life is I did know if I had patience and persistence, I'd get where I need to be.
Yeah.
And maybe, so what happened was my finances, oh God, I'm going to cry. My finances totally turned around, 100%. Second, I was able to repair my credit through friends, really the right friends and friends in community. And third, because one of my best friends in community had moved to Phoenix. And so I get to live a dream, because I bought my dream home in Phoenix. It's 3 bedrooms, 2 bath in a beautiful artistic area, which is beautiful, racially mixed.
Wow.
Artistic community, swimming pool. But I get to maintain a business and a practice in Los Angeles and live here. And my goals is that I want to maintain both this lifestyle in both areas, because I feel my life deeply has direction in both areas. Substantial direction in both areas. And so it's like, can I say everything? Oh, it's like this definitive thing and I'm the Instagram influencer. No, it's in development.
Yes.
But it's like, there's somewhere deep in me that I know this is my direction. And so going through my process, I've got to discover it.
Yeah.
And I've got to live it. And I love where I live right now. It's a dream. I love my house where I live. You can lose your house, you can lose finances, you can regain it. But right now, I think what I have, what I never had before, I have such an appreciation for what this means.
Yeah,
appreciation to have lost it and regain it, and to have something so beautiful in my life is unreal. Because when I started transition, I couldn't imagine this. I couldn't imagine this was possible. I thought that was everybody else, not me.
Yeah, right. That's so amazing to look at, from when self-harm was crossing your mind, all those years where you didn't see a way out, you didn't know what was going to happen, to compare that to now where you're living purposefully and you found a calling that is so important to helping people get from where they are to where they need to be. And that's so beautiful. So amazing.
Yeah. It really is a privilege to share. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It's perfect. It's the hugest growth project to realize, I am now, this is my career. So part of my career is now in addition to being a therapist, is a business owner and a marketer and an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And right now, that's in my infancy, and that is the most enormous growth path right now. And it's great. It's great. Like, oh my God, I never knew I'd be going in this direction. These were the things that I always avoided because not me, but guess what?
Right.
It is me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sounds like you turn your experience into your professional now and give back.
Yes.
So that's very,
Amazing.
yeah, because myself and many other girls we interview, including Carrie, is thinking about changing career,
Yes,
remember?
right.
So I think what we used to do might not be perfect, but once you transition, you have different mindset, different thinking, different philosophy. So, new career might be,
Exactly.
because I started new real estate kind of the same way from my personal experience, and got me to want to help people, find their homes and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, before we close out, we want to ask you, do you have any advice to share with share with our audience from your experience? Because
A broad question.
yeah, because like Michelle always said, our story, our path is kind of similar, but it's also unique on individually.
Right.
So
I think maybe I would say in transition, I had to learn. It didn't come quickly. I had to learn how to be self-loving of myself, and I had to learn how to be uncompromising when it comes to myself.
That's a good
And at some
word.
point, you have to transcend that and just, oh, here I am. I'm a human being. But those were two things I didn't know how to do. And so I think what I want to share is to be yourself is the greatest act of self-love you could ever do. And so that's what I want to share with people. When you go through your process, it may be pretty, it may be ugly, but it's the greatest act of self-love you could ever do. And so as you do it, it's kind of like we use these tried and true expressions that sound a little tired, but it's truly as you embrace yourself and let go of the old, you get to let this new come into your life.
Wow.
And it's unbelievable.
So well said. So well said.
That's what I want to share.
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for living out loud. As someone that has seen you online over the years that we've never met before now. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being a trailblazer in our community and helping create the pathways for all of us. And thank you for what you're doing now and your heart to give back, because I think we need what you're offering.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to share. And I really think I'm able to do this because I am truly standing on the shoulders of so many others who are so, I'm inspired by so many courageous people that oh my God, I can't, it's a long list.
Yeah.
But because of those people, I think the act is my last set of advice. It's not advice. I just need to say this. Sorry. It's like our act of being ourselves, our act of being truly ourselves, not only gives power to ourselves, it gives power to everybody else. At times, it seems so humble and humbling,
right?
But it's not. It's not.
Wow. Wow.
Wow. Amazing.
A lot of stuff there.
Yeah,
Thank
a lot
you
of
so
stuff.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much. And,
thank you. It's a privilege.
Yeah, we one thing I want to ask you is where can people reach out to you for your business? Do you have a website yet, or?
I don't have a website. You can find me on Instagram as my last name, my first name, Acosta, Acosta, Tawni, Tawni. You can find me on Facebook as Tawni Sofia Acosta. Okay. And the name of my business is called Empowered Journeys.
Awesome.
Perfect. Yeah. Perfect name.
Perfect name.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming up. And we will have to do a follow-up episode in the future.
Exactly.
Okay?
Definitely. Wherever you are, thank you for watching and hope that you are able to step in to who you were meant to be fully in every way.
Yeah, that's the reason we're doing this show too, right?
Exactly.
So,
That's exactly right.
all right, thank you for watching, and we'll be right back next time.
Next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye now.